Moving on, communication with North Canton public, and specifically, North Canton's probably got the most active core of citizens that, and from their perspective,
Right.
oversee what's happening in North Canton government. You think that there's adequate interactive communication with council and the mayor with these citizens? For instance, Monday night, I was there, Stark County Political Report, and we were discussing this very issue with Fieldcrest. And after the meeting was over, someone, an activist, hollered out. And there was a little bit of turmoil there. Is there a way to avoid these things in the future?
No. I think what it is, the joke I always make about it is you have a beekeeper with smoke and you have a beekeeper with a stick. You can get the bees out either way, beat them with a stick or smoke them out. Some people just have their passion and it gets the best of them. All I can say is that the city council, the law director, all the people up there, they're not perfect, but they work really hard. I mean, believe me, the city's getting their money's worth on these people. We work so hard to try to do the right thing. Do we know all the answers? No. That's why we rely on the law director and administration and things like that, because they're there full-time. That's their full-time job. So we do the best we can.
So you favor maintaining the structure that presently exists?
The structure is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. Yeah, because here's the thing. If anybody has a concern, they can call me, they can call the mayor, they can come up to the meeting, they can talk. You just can't interrupt the meeting. So when the meeting's happening, we're conducting our
But you could create a space.
We could, but it's not necessary because we have 5 minutes that they have the opportunity to talk during our regular agenda.
That's not very much time.
I think 5 minutes is plenty to voice your public opinion, to get your point across. And then, if that carries over, you wait until the council meeting's over and you have a conversation with that council member or the mayor or the administrator. I mean, it's just a normal dialogue. I mean, you need to communicate in a respectful way. If you beat me with a stick all the time, and you're just beating me and beating me and beating me, hey, I'm making $7,200 to try to do a good job for the citizens. And unfortunately, just because you think I'm Washington, D.C., I'm not. There's nothing, I'm trying to help. So don't beat me and beat me and beat me. I'm not a robot. I have feelings and emotions too. I'm trying to do the best I can. And the same goes for the other people. Obviously, the kind of job I do, if I don't have a closing, if I don't solve the problem, I don't get paid. So my skin's thicker than most. But the point is, not everybody has thick skin. We just want to be treated with respect, but we want to make sure we're transparent. That's why we're driving the communication. We got the streaming videos. We got the newsletters. We're improving the internal. We got the website. We got Facebook. I don't know what else we can do other than trying to do it quicker. So yeah, if there's a frustration, could we do it quicker? And the thing is that I don't know what else to do. I know when my constituents call me, I deal with them. I call them, I go see them, I try to do the best I can. I may not have the answer, but I go to the administrator, the law director, and I try to get them an answer. So all I'm just saying is that during the meeting of the whole, when we're discussing our legal information pertaining to the laws, then that's when the public can observe, and they can always go back and watch the meeting. So if they feel it's unfair, you can go back and watch the archived videos and see. We try to be as fair as we can, but we also have to conduct business. We can't have this crazy thing going on where people are yelling out and getting thrown out.
And I understand that, and I'll go on record as supporting that. However, there could be and John Snyder says if he's elected, he's going to be pushing for under council a space during work sessions for citizens to be involved.
But here's what the problem is. We're there to do a mission. Our mission is to go through our legislation, discuss it. But if we constantly are getting interrupted, we can't get our jobs done. So that's why I think there's a designated area where we just have our conversations up front. Everybody can hear and make notes and corner us afterwards and discuss it with us, or we could set a special time to talk with them. or they can carry it over to when they want to have the public meeting, because we have public meetings if it's an important issue, and we have our regular agendas where they can come up and voice their opinion for 5 minutes and beat us with a stick for 5 minutes, or praise us if we're doing a good job.
Okay,
And-
from the media's perspective.
Okay.
I understand everything you're saying, but all these private meetings
What private meetings?
between constituents and individual council persons.
Okay.
These are not public yet. How does the public benefit if there's not a public dialogue
Okay.
from those kinds of discussions? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so here's how it works for me. Like I said to you in the very beginning, my frustration was I felt there was a lack of transparency and communication. Now, I don't know if it was true or not. That was my perception. So now that I'm in council, on council, I made a commitment to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power. Now, maybe the other councils have their way of doing it, but I'm just doing it the way I do. I produced 30 videos. Now, if you go back and watch those videos, it talks about the streets and the alleys, the USGS gauging system, how to set it up on your phone if it starts flooding, about the streets, the alleys, about paths, about what's coming, what's happening around town. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Right.
Now, by me doing this,
Well, let me ask you, would you be going forward, be willing to take some of these discussions that you have with constituents and recording them and putting them up on your YouTube? So, and my point is, I understand your structure of things,
right.
but this is not a private entity. This is a public entity, and how does the North Canton public, who is not as into these issues as some of the actors, how do they know what the exchange is if it's not done in a public meeting?
So, I mean, some things are pretty boring. You know, I have raccoons walking around, or trees. Like I get calls about.
Well, but you know how to distinguish between
right.
what's a hot button issue and what's not, right?
Give me an example of what you're talking about. Because I'm just saying, I feel I'm as transparent as can be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 30 videos really in less than 2 years. I mean, that's above and beyond to try to get the message out.
The point I'm pressing is, and I understand, you know, for instance, one of the points Monday night was, hey, Mr. Activist, you were asked to go and talk with the chairman of this committee that's considering Fieldcrest,
Right.
correct?
Right.
And he can. But to me, from a media standpoint, is how does that benefit the North Canton public in getting answers to questions that the citizen may pose one-on-one with the council
Well, I
person?
don't know how to answer that question. All I'm just saying is for myself.
Okay.
Like, it's never been an issue for me.
Okay.
I mean, I'm about as transparent as you can be. I mean, like I said, this isn't like, you know, I'm giving all I can give.
Okay.
That's all I can do. Now,
Okay.
there's been plenty of meetings about this already. She's had plenty of meetings with the neighbors, the people that it affect, all the neighbors. Okay, if the activist, by the way, I sat next to the activist, he was there at the meeting, but he wanted to record it because he thought it was a public meeting, but it was a private meeting that she invited people to. And he was upset he couldn't record it. Well, I mean, you know, come on. Some people, you know, want to just have a conversation, not be like on camera all the time.
Well, but this is a citizen who's asking the government to change things,
Well, but-
to change the zoning. Now, do you really consider that a private meeting?
He wrote down a whole bunch of notes,
Well, yeah.
and expressed his concern. But the point is that it wasn't a public meeting. I mean, I went to it because I wanted to hear what was really going on, because I personally haven't been to the site, and I didn't know if it's a nice site or not a nice site. So I wanted to see with my own two eyes. That's why I asked if you were there, because I think it would be important for you to go as a you know, a blogger and just keeping people.
But I do. I have a camera. I wouldn't have been permitted to.
You could go and ask her, could you mind if I record some? Because you want to get the other side of it. Why don't you do that? Talk to her, take video the property, but you got to get permission. You can't just go video the property without asking.
Well,
for
I mean,
permission.
we'll just, of course, have a very civil and
Absolutely.
amicable disagreement. My own perspective is when someone's asking a public official or public officials to do something, I don't know how you can call that private, but you can come and take notes, but you can't have a video
Well,
camera.
I don't-
And I always am disappointed in public officials
Well, here's how I
who
look at it.
go
I
along with
went-
that.
I went as a private citizen to just observe and see what was going on because I didn't really know. I heard, people complaining, but I wanted to see for myself. So I showed up as a citizen just to see what's going on. So I
A
said,
citizen who happens to be a North Canton public official.
right.
You don't see that as a significant difference then?
My understanding was there were only me and Stephanie Warren there, so there wasn't enough to be a quorum or anything. So,
Okay, all right.
so I think we're doing good. And like I said, I said to them, I would love to have that in my backyard. See, so that's a big concern. It's a beautiful amenity. We need more stuff like that in North Canton, but we only have 6 or 7 miles. We're very limited on what we can do. So I think that, address the concerns, make the modifications, and let's get on with it.
Okay.